Last week was his birthday. People waited, but there were no invitations, no cards, no venue, no celebration. When friends tried to confirm the date on his Facebook profile, they found that he had turned it off. No reminders, no notifications, no public acknowledgement. He woke up, drank his coffee, and went to work that day. Ate normally, spoke normally, slept normally, and treated his birthday like it was just another ordinary day. To the outside world, this silence looked like sadness, maybe even arrogance. They wondered, is he depressed? Is he antisocial? But they were asking the wrong questions. He wasn't hiding from the day. He was rejecting the script. Today, we are decoding the psychology of the birthday refusal, and why for some, treating their birthday like a normal day is the ultimate sign of psychological freedom. 1. Birthdays as a psychological symbol. Birthdays aren't just dates. Psychologically, they are symbols. They mark time passing, aging, attention, recognition of identity. For many people, birthdays soften the reality of aging. They distract us with celebration. But for deep thinkers, birthdays do the opposite. They sharpen reality. Philosophically, a birthday isn't special. It's a clock striking, a reminder that another measurable portion of life is gone. Psychologists studying time perception and mortality awareness show that some individuals respond to time reminders with urgency rather than celebration. They don't feel special. They feel alert. To them, pretending time isn't passing feels dishonest. So instead of candles and songs, they choose quiet reflection, or work, or normalcy. Not because they're sad, but because they're honest with time. 2. The spotlight effect, introversion, and control. There's another layer here. For high-level introverts, attention isn't a reward, it's a cortisol spike. Psychology shows that being the center of attention increases stress hormones in introverted nervous systems. A birthday forces social performance. You must react correctly, smile convincingly, express gratitude, manage everyone else's emotions. They don't hate the celebration. They hate the obligation. So opting out becomes a way to reclaim emotional control. 3. Low need for external validation. Some people don't celebrate birthdays for a very simple reason. They don't need validation to feel real. Psychological research on self-determination theory shows that people with strong internal self-worth rely less on external affirmation. Being praised, posted, or publicly celebrated feels unnecessary, sometimes even uncomfortable. Celebration becomes optional, not essential. 4. The gift guilt effect. There's something deeper happening here. Receiving gifts creates psychological debt. According to the rule of reciprocity, when someone gives to us, our brain feels pressure to give back. People with high empathy or low self-worth feel this intensely. They don't think, "How nice." They think, "You shouldn't have spent money on me." So refusing birthday celebrations becomes a twisted form of kindness. They're not rejecting love. They're trying to protect others from effort because they don't feel worthy of it. 5. Emotional minimalism. Some minds simply prefer less noise, less spectacle, less emotional peaks. These individuals practice emotional minimalism. Psychologically, they value pragmatism, emotional regulation, routine over ritual. For them, birthdays feel like unnecessary stimulation, not meaningful, just loud. So they strip life down to what feels essential. 6. Negative associations and memory. Sometimes the reason is memory. If past birthdays were filled with loneliness, conflict, loss, or disappointment, the brain remembers. This is Pavlovian conditioning. The date itself becomes a trigger. Research on trauma shows that the brain doesn't store memories logically. It stores them emotionally. So when the birthday arrives, the body reacts before the mind explains. They don't see cake and balloons. They feel tension. Avoiding the day isn't negativity. It's self-protection. 7. Control and autonomy. Birthdays come with scripts: how to feel, how to respond, how grateful to be. Some people reject birthdays because they reject scripts. Psychologically, this reflects a strong need for autonomy. Not celebrating becomes a quiet act of control, a way of saying, I decide what matters to me. 8. Time awareness and existential reflection. Birthdays force one truth we all avoid. Time is passing. Life is finite. For some people, that realization feels motivating. For others, it feels existentially heavy. Studies in existential psychology show that reminders of mortality trigger different coping strategies. Some celebrate survival. Others withdraw into reflection. Avoidance doesn't mean immaturity. Sometimes it means awareness. 9. Introversion and energy management. Celebrations cost energy: planning, replying, hosting, expressing emotion. Introverted individuals manage energy carefully. Psychologically, skipping birthdays is a boundary, not rejection. They're protecting their nervous system. 10. Identity over ritual. Some people don't define themselves by age. They define themselves by growth, experience, learning, internal progress. To them, identity doesn't reset every year. Life isn't measured in candles, but in meaning. 11. Cultural and family influence. Not everyone was raised celebrating birthdays. In some families and cultures, survival mattered more than celebration. Milestones weren't emphasized. Psychology shows that early normalization becomes adulthood default. What feels strange to you feels normal to them. Here's the reframe. Not celebrating a birthday doesn't mean sadness. It often means clarity. Some people don't need one loud day to feel valued. They value consistency over attention, depth over display. Whether it's trauma, introversion, philosophy, or autonomy, refusing a birthday is rarely about hating fun. It's about rejecting the script. If this is you, you don't owe anyone a performance. And if you do celebrate, that's valid too. Because celebrating or not, birthdays remind us of the same truth. Time is passing. What matters is how we choose to live it. Not every quiet choice is a broken one. If you are part of the No Birthday Club, hit the like button. Let's see how many of us there are. And if you want the next one, The Psychology of People Who Avoid Celebrations, subscribe.